Hey guys, welcome back to Make That Sea Change. Paul here with you again. And Make That Sea Change is my site and channel aimed at everything to do with getting yourself set up with an online business through whatever way, shape or form that can be. Now today we're going to talk about 10 tips to overcome writer's block. It's something that, especially within the online world where we spend a lot of time writing blog posts, writing advertising copy, writing, social media posts, all those sort of things that we write, and as a means of attracting people to our site, attracting them and convincing them to click on our sales links or buy from us or sign up to something, whatever it is we're trying to do. Now, writer's block is something that we all struggle from time to time. And so here I've got some options here that we can run through to try and alleviate that problem. Now, I did a lot of research on this as to what causes writer's block. Some of them I agree with, some of them I didn't. I put them all in the post. I'm not going to read you through the post word for word. You can have a look at that below and get involved in that. But essentially, things that I know I struggle with when it comes to writer block is perfectionism. So making sure that it's written absolutely perfectly. If I know I've only got a certain amount of time, I almost go into a panic mode and think, well, I haven't got much time, so I've got to get it all done, which just blows me out the water, slows me down. If I don't research properly, if I have a lack of understanding of what I'm doing, that can cause it as well. And, just being tired is another thing. I mean, my wife and I have a business which we run, and then I spend, probably part-time on that and part-time on this, and by the end of the day sometimes I'm just tired, so that can have an effect on that as well. So with all that in mind, let's have a look at the 10 ways that we can alleviate writer's block. So the first one we've got here that I talk about quite often is eliminating distractions. Now, distractions can be anything that stops you from being able to concentrate on your work, because when you have writer's block, it's very easy to get distracted with everything that's going on around you. This can be anything from having your cell phone in front of you at the time. I have all sorts of little things on my desk. I've got a GoPro here. I've got little gems, little crystals. I've got fishing. I have a fishing site as well, so I've got fishing hooks and stuff like that, essential oils that my wife puts on here. All those sort of things suddenly become absolute musts for me to play with when I'm struggling with writer's block. If I can't get something out, I start playing with that. Sometimes that can be a good thing because it gives me a bit of a break, but other times I need to bundle it all up, put it to the side and get on with what I'm doing. So eliminating distractions is your first one. Second one is maybe storyboard what it is you're trying to do. Now, that can be very, very helpful for me, and it probably runs on to the third one, storyboard and write a skeleton. But storyboard is if you were writing a blog post on, you're reviewing a product, and you might say, okay, what's the product? This is the product. What is it? What's it made of? What's it do? What are the pros? What are the cons? Anything else? Create yourself a template, and that's what I do my storyboards from. So I create a template that's got all those headings in there already. So then all I know is I just need to do that little bit of that heading. And that allows me to just work on that part, just write it out. And if I've got the writer's block, then I know I'm just working on that one part. So storyboarding can be a very, very helpful option there. And moving on from that, then we have write a skeleton. So write a skeleton is just the next level down from that. So if I'm doing, for example, if I'm writing about a certain fishing reel, so on my fishing site, I write about fishing reels. So I've got fishing reels littered all over my desk here. So if I wanted to write about a spinning reel, for example, and I was really struggling to put it down, I would say, okay, I'd just write, like, what is it made of? I'd write aluminium, interchangeable, stainless steel bale, drag on front. I put the ratio down, the bearings down, and I just list them. And there's my skeleton. Then I go on the next part. What is it used for? So, is it freshwater, saltwater? What's good about it? And just list all the things there without actually writing sentences. That way you can sort of even just plagiarize your own stuff then and just go in and say, okay, well, it is made of, because I've already written aluminium there, it has a drag at the front. The drag is this pounds because I've already written that. Its ratio is that, the ball bearing's that. Before you know it, it's written because you've got those headings there. So that's your third option. So storyboard into your skeleton is a very, very handy way of overcoming writer's block because you're actually putting the key points in there and then you're just filling it out because, again, we're trying to write that all at once. Although that said, our fourth option then is, what is our fourth option? I've totally forgotten. Free writing. So where I've said before, you do a skeleton if you're writing specific information. Something I often do if I'm writing something that's a little bit more fluid. So say, for example, if I was writing this post and I'm writing about writer's block and I get to writing, free write, and I think, what is that? I would just start writing. Free writing is the case of blah, 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 blah. Just write it. Don't think about what you're writing as if you were speaking to someone, because quite often when you've got writer's block doesn't mean you can't say it. So if someone walked in the room and said to you, what's free writing? You go, well, free writing is a case where you just write it all down. You don't think about what you're writing. And at the end, you end up with a paragraph that's written, and then you can go back in and plagiarize that and reword that later on, which is exactly what free writing is. And you do that by writing it. So if I'm writing about writer's block, I just say, okay, writer's block is the process where we get stuck about what we want to write. We really have trouble doing it, and I need to think about ways that I can stop doing it. That's not going to be my final paragraph, but it's enough there that, again, I can just meddle with the words a bit, change them all around, and go from there. Which takes us into number 5, which is sufficiency. Now, I mentioned before that writer's block, quite often some of us struggle from writer's block because of the fact of perfectionism. Blog writing is not like academic writing. It doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, some people will say the simpler it is, the better, because you're attracting all levels of reading ability, people's interest. Some people will only... It's ironic that I'm a writer for a living because I don't like reading a lot. So, I'm going to read something that's quite similar. So if you're looking at sufficiency, again, go back to the fishing reel. It is made of aluminium. It has a stainless steel spool with a 25-pound, with a 5-pound drag. Its ratio is 6.2 to 1. It has 5 bearings, and the handle is interchangeable. That's like 2 sentences. It goes about that much on a paragraph. And if you look at that later and think, well, it's pretty much covered everything I needed to cover, why would you want to rewrite it and, put a few more fancy words in and stuff like that? So have a read of something, and if any of you ever start outsourcing your writing, you need to work on sufficiency because no one writes the same way you do anyway. But if you've got that sufficiency there and it's covered everything you need to cover and it's succinct and to the mark, why spend time rewording it? Because that just adds to your writer's block as well. So if you've written your skeleton or free written, and then just moved it around a bit so it makes sense, why would you want to increase it and change that from there? So that could be something that's really helpful is sufficiency. It's an old, I think it comes under agile terminology for project management. I could be wrong there, but I seem to remember from my old days that's where it comes from. Okay, so they're your writing techniques. So do a storyboard, write a skeleton, come with sufficiency, and then come from there. Let's have a look at our next options that we can do when we're looking at writer's block as a whole. Get up and move. Like if you're sitting there going, I can't get it. Go for a walk around the block. Go and watch half an hour of mindless TV. Go for a run, lift some weights, just move. Get out of where you are, get your head different, come back, and then go back to the skeleton, the free write, or and sufficiency from there. So move, just change your location, just move. And that can help with distractions. Sometimes I'll pick up my laptop and go and sit out in the backyard in the sun and write, because where I am here, I've got a window out the front, so if I can see people walking past. You might see the shadows of cars on behind me if you watch this video long enough. So all that stuff is out the front. I have all the stuff here to play with. I've got shelves over there with stuff on it. There's so many distractions here, so I sometimes just move and take from there. And that also goes to take a break, which is my next option. Just go and have a rest. Go and do something else. If you're shooting videos, I'm shooting this video, to be honest, halfway through a post because I got a bit bored with writing a post, bit stuck. shoot a video, I'll go back and write it afterwards, and I just find that clears me. So taking a break doesn't necessarily mean to stop writing or stop working. Just do something else. Take a break from the writing and do something else is my next option. Time block is what number is that? Number 8. So time blocking is where these next couple are if you are struggling with the actual having the time, and if time is the panic that you have. So if you think, oh, I've got to get this out, I've only got 2 hours to get it done, I want to get this, this, and this done, and I've only got 2 hours, and now it's starting to all build up pressure on me, etc., etc. Time block. Okay, from 8 to 9, I'm going to do that. Then shut everything else down. Shut down your emails. Shut down your... Emails is a big distraction too. I should have mentioned that right the first one. Shut down your emails. Shut down all your browser tabs. Do everything. Don't let anything else in from 9 till 10. Because then you know that's the time you set aside. You've worked it out through your day. That's all well and good. And then from 10 to 10:15, then you go and check your emails. And you're not fretting about not doing writing because you check your emails. It's an office management technique that a lot of people use. Work out what you've got to do in a day, time block it out, and stick to that point only. That way you're not letting distractions in, and you're not panicking about the amount of time you got and what you need to get done, because time blocking also allows you to prioritize. Excuse me. So if you know that you've only got 2 hours to do something, as you start writing out, think, okay, well, writing's going to take me an hour, email's 15 minutes, video half an hour, social media post for the day is 15 minutes, and I've also got to go in and check my statistics. I've also got to upload a Pinterest pin. Okay, well, I can't get all that done. What are my priorities? What can I push to tomorrow? So that takes some of that pressure out of you as well. And then number 9 is actually something quite interesting. I wrote in a post, when I used to work in the government years and years ago, we always used to talk about there was 2 types of people. They were the ones that used to turn up at 7 o'clock in the morning and leave at 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Then there were the others who turn up at 9:30 or 10 in the morning and leave at 6 or 7 at night. I was always in the early, others were in the late. Now I do my best work early. So I get up, I have breakfast, get my son off to school, and just sit and go until about lunchtime, have some lunch, come back, go for another hour. By 2 o'clock I'm normally done. And I'll go and do some other stuff. I might come back in later on, but I do all my best work early in the morning. If that's you, rearrange your time blocking so you can get that work done. Other people work better at night. So why sit there all morning when you're still waking up and all that, trying to get all this stuff out, when you realise that if you went in at night after the kids are in bed, or if you went in at 6 o'clock at night and worked till 11, you'd get so much more done. It's about being in that mindset to get so much more done. If I'm in the right mindset early morning, I can get way more done in 2 hours than I can if I try and come in from 5 till 9. I'll get more done in those 2 than I will in those 4 because I work better at that time. So that's another option to overcome it. Think about when you can do your best work. And the final option there is eat something. Just go and get something to eat or have food with you. Food lifts your natural blood sugars, does all that. And that helps your brain function. Make sure don't sit there and eat chips and chocolate all day. Have some fruit, have something healthy. If you need chocolate to help you refocus, have some chocolate. I mean, the healthier food, like if you do the research, there's the brain foods like the blueberries, the walnuts, all that, avocados on toast, that sort of stuff will help you way more than what eating chocolate chips will. But if you need chocolate for that sugar hit to get you going, have it. Just eat. A lot of people get stuck in their front of their laptop all day and they get tired and they do that. And if they just went and ate something, you'd feel that bit of a rush and you get your work done as well. And that's it, guys. That was very, very quick run through. Have a look in the posts. I've elaborated on all them for you. Hope that was helpful. But as I say, eliminate distractions. Then storyboard, skeleton, or free write, which will help you with getting your head around what it is you have to write. If you're struggling with, and then sufficiency, don't do too much. And then if it's the timing and all that sort of stuff you're struggling with, look at your time blocking, move around, take breaks when you need to, adjust the time you write, and as I mentioned, eat something. Hope that was helpful. If you're watching this from YouTube, please like and subscribe to my channel below. If you're watching this within the post, comment below. What do you do to overcome writer's block? Is there something that I've listed that you do? Is there things that I haven't listed that you do? Whatever you do to overcome writer's block, I'd love to hear below so that others can see it as well. And we can even chat about it if you need. Thanks, guys. Hope that was helpful. Chat to you soon. Bye.